Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Unmatched. This is Adventures. This is a new cooperative version of the game called Tales to Amaze. So the Adventures is the cooperative version. Tales to Amaze is a specific box set because there will be potentially more in the future. Actually, there is one coming out later. Is the Ninja Turtles. So it's heroes versus villains. So we're getting Annie Christmas, Dr. Jill Trent, Golden Beck, and Nikola Tesla versus the Mothman and the Martian Invader, plus some minions, Leveling Frog, Ant Queen, Skunk Ape, the Bob, Tarantula, and Jersey Devil. So yeah, this is just a heads up right off the bat. This is going to be a 3-part video. So this video, we're going to kind of look over the what's in the contents of the box, the base rules that are new for the cooperative mode. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to play the regular game. I do have other videos where I did the other Unmatched. You can kind of look at that. They are probably the Marvel ones, but the gameplay is all the same. And then we're going to do a second one where we go over just the 4 brand new hero characters we can play as. And then we'll do a third video where we go over all the villains. Just because each one has enough deck, we'll try and make these not 3-hour-long videos. So what is cool about this is it has the villain mode plays as an AI in an AI function. So it's an automatic function that's going to work around. You're going to determine you draw a card that's going to tell you kind of what to do and how they're going to attack. And like what they're attacking, stuff, and all that. So it's really fun that way. But what's neat about it is that you can actually use these 4 characters, or you can use any character from any other Unmatched game. So you can bring in your Marvel characters, your Ghost Rider and your Spider-Man here. Again, the Ninja Turtles are coming. You can go grab your Jurassic Park characters, your Buffy characters, or you can play with, obviously, any of the other historical characters that have been out there, like Red Riding Hood, Bigfoot, Robin Hood, even like Bruce Lee and stuff like that. So it's really fun there. Secondly, you can also take any of these 4 characters and play them as a regular match against any other character. So they're not just exclusively to be used for cooperative mode. They're not like they're only designed for that. So they can be mixed and matched out as well. The villains, on the other hand, are not as mixed back there. There are 2 basic villain modes. There's one map that's for the Mothman, one side is for the Martian Invader. But I don't think you can really swap them in and out. I don't know if you're going to be able to swap minion decks in and out. So if like they come up with more minions, be able to swap them in and out as easily. So we'll kind of see when we look at that and kind of debate that. So what is all in the box? So first of all, we're going to have our big instruction book, which is going to explain how to play the cooperative mode. So we'll look at that in just a moment. We do have a small rule set. This is like your standard one you would get in your regular box. It shows each character, what they have with them, little information about each one, kind of how their special rules work. And what is really cool about this, lots of people probably know who Nikola Tesla is. Scientists did a lot of stuff with electricity. But the other 3 characters might not be as familiar. But what is really neat is they are all actual, just like every other character that's been in this game outside of, like, the straight up fictional ones, like the Marvel, Buffy, and Jurassic Park characters. But, like, all the other ones, they've been, like, at least based in something. Like, they're not just completely made up. Like, Golden Bat is a Japanese, crime fighter from the 1930s TV series and stuff, and comic books and things. So he's actually, like, they updated his image and stuff, but he's a character that really existed back then. They made him up and he did stuff. Not like a real crime fighter, but like a real fictional character, kind of like, Red Riding Hood and Robin Hood aren't necessarily real, but they're based off stuff. Same thing, Annie Christmas was about lore of a Mississippi boatman, kind of like pirate type character, and Dr. Joe Trent was a pulp comic thing, and they all have their own history in these things. I love that they're not just like brand new made up characters. That's really cool. We do have our board here. I'm gonna scooch this out of the way for a sec. So the board is a bigger sized board here. So this is one side. So the board can, in itself, actually just be played as a regular board if you would like to. It is, I think, a little bit bigger than some of the other ones, but it has all the same stuff you need. It has your different areas because it has to maintain the same gameplay for everything else. Then at the top, like this one, it's called Pleasant Point for this one. This is for Mothman. So it has special trackers and stuff on there for his part of the board, but they do have like the numbers of where characters start. If we flip to the other side, we have McMinnville, Oregon, for the Martian Invaders. They have, of course, stuff on the top specific to them. Otherwise, like cornfields have like numbers in them and arrows. But if you want to play a regular map on here, you definitely can. Big 4-player map, you can get some good, decent stuff on there. So then in the box, we have a lot of stuff set up. So we have our 4 hero decks. Like underneath each one, we have some tokens down there for some of the Mothman stuff. But we have like health dial for Annie Christmas. If we flip over this one, we have his dial. We have a little extra set of decks. So underneath each one kind of has some of the stuff for cooperative mode as well. Down here, she has stuff for her specific deck and her stuff. Joe Trent. And then for Nikola Tesla, we have his stuff. He has some tokens under there, too. And, of course, we have all our 4 different characters kind of next to their decks, so you can grab them quicker. We have some big health dials for the villains, plus little mini health dials for all of the minion characters as well. They kind of all just stack in there very nicely. We have some extra tokens in here for in the game. We have our miniature for our Mothman and our Martian Invaders, and then they have little decks down there, and then they have their own big old deck here. So we have a bigger deck for Tarantula, or for all the minions of Tarantula, Ant Queen, Jersey Devil, Skunk Ape, Loveling Frog, the Blob. So they all get their own little mini decks, which are going to look a lot like the regular cards. They just have a little couple differences. And then we get a little bit bigger decks for Martian Invader and Mothman, so they have their own special decks as well. So this is why I do wonder, though, if the minions are going to be very interchangeable, because they do have, like, just minion road on them. And that would be cool if, like, in the future you can mix and match and come up with some more different ones. This is, this is based on cryptids and, like, lore and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of neat, though, if we got some other minor characters. It would be kind of cool as well. Alright, so let's hop into the rulebook here and take a look at what is going on in here. So bring together classic enemies from the pulp and local legends of the mid-20th century. Choose a villain, choose a minions, save the world. Unmatched Adventure standalone game uses the core rules and heroes from Unmatched as a whole new way. Use cooperative rules. Up to 4 heroes will work together to defeat the villain control of the game. You use these heroes set to mix and match heroes from other Unmatched sets. You need the heroes on set in competitive games, which I already talked about. Unless the rules are specifically set, there are all Unmatched rules work as normal. If you're unfamiliar, read the core ones. So we have 2 villains, Mothman and Martian, each with a unique objective. Each time a villain completes his objective, things get harder for the heroes. Meanwhile, the villain's minions threaten the heroes with their own attacks. If the villain completes all his objectives, the heroes lose. So the Unmatched Adventures are cooperative games. Communicate on what is in their hands, coordinate turns, and make plans. So, winning and losing. Players win the game if they defeat the villain, reducing its health to 0. Doesn't matter if you take out all the minions, you just gotta take out the main villain. Players lose the game if they achieve all their objectives 4 times, or if all the players are defeated, both heroes and sidekicks. It's a very simplified way to work. So we're going to have some setup here. Note the Martian Invader is more challenging. Defeat the Mothman. We recommend choosing Mothman for your first game. Choose a villain and follow the setup. Place a game board on the villain side. Place a threat marker on the first space of its threat track. Shuffle the villain deck. Set aside the starting health at 10 per player and place the villain on number 5. So, pretty simple there. We have a little threat tracker up at the top of the board up there. So I'm going to flip the Mothman since I'll probably reference that one. At least to begin with. So we have our threat tracker up here. So we're going to go ahead and keep track of that. Starting that at number 1. And then spot number 5, we'll find that's right in the middle there. So it's usually going to be like the regular 4, be your 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're outside for a regular game, and then 5 starts in the middle because that's where the villain gets to start. So they put the little miniature on there. Then you have all your decks off to the side, so they have like regular deck, health deck, and you have all your whatever minions you end up choosing, any tokens they will have. Then you have all your heroes set aside as well. So each player chooses a hero, places them in any of the empty starting spaces. According to Unmatched rules, each player takes their order turn marker on the space. Such will be a little player 1, player 2, so you can play them whatever order you want to go. According to whatever spot you started on. Take the initiative token for the villain minion and the players being used, shuffle them together, create the initiative deck, place it near the board. If the players if play level up and queen minions do not include certain cards, they'll be noted during setup. You can make the game more difficult by amazing events, so we'll look at those later. So a little bit of additional set for Mothman, just so we have it. Random place 4 bridge tokens on the spaces with their side effects face up. Place 1 Doom Conquer on the bridge number 1. The bridges are printed on the spaces near the board. So we do have, if I zoom in a little bit here, we do have like bridge 3, bridge 1, bridge 4. So they're going to tell you specifically where to put those. Let's see if I can find those bridge tokens in here. So here are player tokens. So it's going to be player 1, 2, 3, 4. Backside are random. So that doesn't do us much good there. Where are the bridge tokens? And they're hiding on me somewhere. Alright, I won't worry about them for the moment, since I can't seem to find them in the box really quick. They're probably under one of the decks, and I'm just not seeing them. But yeah, then we got something for the Martian. Shuffle invasion cards into the initiative deck based on the number of players. For example, in 1-player game, we only use wave 1, and 2-player, you use wave 1 and wave 2. And then in the 4 invasion tokens, mix space down, place them randomly on the evasion spots on the board. So we'll get some tokens on there as well. Alright, up next we have 4 enemies. Just going into some of the stuff that's different. Enemies are opposing players' control of the game. The main enemy is called the villain, others are called minions. These are similar to heroes and sidekicks controlled by players, but the effects are specifically referring to heroes or sidekicks, do not affect villains or minions. Effects refer to fighters, affects enemies as normal. So it might nerf some of the cards if it says it specifically affects somebody. Each enemy has its own deck of action cards. All enemy cards are versatile and can be used to attack and defend. Unlike regular versatile cards, these cards have separate attack and defense values. So, like, if we grab just one of the minions here, for example, we're grabbing one of the Mothman cards. So it can attack or defend. If it has a double symbol, some of them might have, double zeros, for example. So they're all versatile cards, but they have different numbers. Some of them might have something like that. There's a 4 and then a 3 on the bottom, so it has an effect if it's an attack, but it doesn't as a defense. Just so that way they don't have to decide, oh, they drew an attack and they can't defend. Enemies may move through other enemies, but not through heroes or sidekicks. Some effects place enemies on the closest empty starting space, moving the closest space without a fighter. If they're already on a starting space, move them to a new one. Enemies, hands, and discard. Enemies do not have hands or cards. An effect would reveal or allow a player to look at an enemy's hand or number of cards on hand style as the top card of its deck. If an enemy is forced to discard any number of cards, whether random or not, put that many cards from its deck in its discard pile. So you like that as a feature. So then the cards are basically going to look the same. Villain or minion's name, name of the cards, emerges from the swamp. Its attack and defense, its boost value, which we have from our regular cards, any effects it played, and the number of copies in the deck. Combat, the printed value of the enemy's card is the attack value if it's attacking, the defense if it's defending. If the card refers to the enemy's hand, use its attack value. The threat track. Each villain has a threat track On its respective board displays how close it is to meeting its objective. The threat marker identifies the villain's progress towards its objective, as well as the current threat level. Enemy cards and effects say when you advance the threat marker on the track and how much. When advancing the marker on the counter, count the spaces by 1, ignoring the printed numbers below the track. So the numbers on the track aren't like 1, 2, 3. This is going to have different effects that'll be on this, the threat level. When the threat meets the end of the track, it achieves its objective noted in the rules. Ignore any additional spaces removed. Merely resolve the objective. Unless that ends the game, return it to the first track. So at the end of the first round, threat marker is supposed to advance 4 spaces. It moves 2 spaces to the end of the track. These Mothman completes the objective, so the first time. It continues, the threat marker is returned to the start of the track. It doesn't then move an additional 2. Tokens, Tarantula and Blob have additional tokens. Tarantula has Web, Blob have Acid. We'll come back and look at these when we get into the minion spaces. They have special things. Alright, so how do we actually play the game then? Start to be sure and reveal the top card of the initiative deck and identify what player or enemy it belongs to. Some initiative cards have effects to resolve when they're revealed. Others only have effects to resolve at the end of the round. That was follow the right now text immediately if any, usually involve a player or enemy taking turns. Each time a new initiative is revealed, place it to the right of the previous one. As the round progresses, it will cause a roll of face-up cards. So in this one, like, first turn Mothman, then player 3, then Blob, then so on. And so that's what's neat, is they actually use just generalized initiative, or generalized named cards for the characters. So we have all our initiatives here. So for all the players, it's just going to be player 1, 2, 3, and 4. That way, any player can be picked up and good. They didn't make a specific new card for each character, because then they'd have to reprint them for all the other previous characters, including ones that might not be in print or promotional characters. And then they'd also have to make sure they print a new one in every box. And then we'll have one for each of the rest. Although I can say, like, here we're getting some special ones for the Ant, Queen, and Loveland Frog, which were mentioned earlier on, about adding them in there later. Or the Martian Waves, which were also mentioned that we add differently. And then the Mothman, them have theirs. So yeah, it's kind of a neat way to determine who gets to go. So that way it's not necessarily always player 1, player 2, but that also means you have to strategize a little bit differently than normal. So if you're playing a normal 4-player game and you know, oh, I'm going to go that person, that person, and that person, you can kind of plan stuff. Here you don't know. You might go first, you might go last. And on the card, you can see it's going to have a right now action. So it says, Loveland Frog takes a turn, moves 3. And then it says, end of the round, he does this special effect. Note, whenever a minion or player is defeated, remove the corresponding initiative card from play. If it's already revealed, simply remove it from the row. Otherwise, the next time it's played, reveal it. Additional enemy turns. Some effects can cause initiative cards to be placed to the bottom of the initiative deck. As a result, then we'll get another turn that round. If it's the last turn of the round, they get to act again. Player turns. Players' initiative card reveal takes their turn. Character turn is a normal, taking 2 actions among maneuver, steam, and attack. Attacking the enemy. When attacking the enemy, play an attack card face down on the table. Then play the top card of that enemy's deck as a defense card face down on the table. Reveal both cards simultaneously to resolve combat as normal. The enemy card indicates its defense value. If there's an effect in the box with the defense value, resolve it. If a player's card deal combat damage after using enemy's health, resolve any after combat effects. When the enemy is defeated, remove its miniature token, health guy, and all its cards from the game. The enemy initiative is not already revealed, remove it when it is revealed. There are deception cards. Each enemy has a deception card in its action deck. Whenever this card is put in the enemy's discard pile, shuffle its discard, including the deception back into the deck. The reshuffle effect on enemy's deception card always resolves, even if it's placed in the enemy's discard pile in the middle of another effect. It cannot be cancelled or prevented. If this happens in the middle of combat, immediately shuffle the enemy deck, but do not shuffle the card that the enemy is using in combat. After the combat, it'll be discarded to the new discard. So like in the middle of a combat, it says, oh, before you attack, they discard a card from their hand. You discard it, you might have to reshuffle their deck. This is basically a way for them to have to keep reshuffling their deck. But again, you don't know when it's going to happen. So it could happen, you know, if they have 10 cards in their deck, it could happen on card 10. It could happen on card 4. So then it kind of makes everything even harder to predict. Enemies' turns. Unlike a player, enemies will not take two actions. Enemies' turn will try to attack attack one time, moving as necessary to do so. To determine what they will do, so adjacent to a target. If adjacent to a hero sidekick, it attacks the hero or sidekick. If the enemy is adjacent to one or more sidekick, decides who they attack. Closest target. If no target is adjacent, enemy will move to attack the closest target within its move value it can reach. If it can reach the closest target by multiple routes, it'll take the shortest route. There's a tie, players choose. No target. If no target is within its move value, the enemy does not move or attack. Instead, it advances the threat marker by 1. So it's kind of showing here. So, start of the turn, Mothman is adjacent to both of them. You get to decide who they attack. In example 2, has a move value of 3, is 2 spaces away from bat. Golden bat is 2 spaces, Daisy is 3 spaces. So it's going to move towards the golden bat, since it can get there quicker and attack. And the third one, Low Blind Fraud, is not adjacent to a fighter, so it looks for the closest. It's more than 3 spaces away, so not move. It advances the threat track. So what makes this kind of interesting is because it's very simple to determine whether they can attack or do whatever. But what also means that you can't just sit back across the board and wait for them to come to you. You can't, retreat across the board and be like, oh, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to spend a turn, drawing cards or doing something without consequences. Because the longer you let them sit across the board not doing stuff, not attacking you, then they're going to advance that threat marker, and then that's going to eventually end the game. So you kind of got to be a little bit aggressive. So it's kind of a neat idea. Because if you're playing against somebody else, they're probably not going to let you sit across the board drawing cards for 4 or 5 turns either. Hopefully, but you might get away with it for 1 turn or so. It's very possible. Another thing to maybe mention here that they don't is most board games that are cooperative in nature have an idea of when you're fighting against AI that when you have to choose, you always choose the worst option. So again, this first example would have been Daisy and Tesla. If Mothman had to choose, you choose whoever probably has the least amount of health. If Tesla has 5 health and Daisy has 2, and they can possibly take out Daisy depending on defenses and stuff, they're going to go attack Daisy. They're not going to attack the harder character. But you could also determine the other direction too. It's if they're going to move, if this way, they're going to move towards one and they're both 3 spaces away, who would they move to? You could be like, oh, well, this person has a melee attack, so if I move next to them, they can punch me. That person only has a ranged attack, so they can't hit me if they're next to me, so they'd have to move again. So they might go after that character. Alright, when an enemy attacks a fighter, place top card of the enemy's deck on the table face down. Then the defender may choose a defense card from their hand to play in front of them. Must be a card to defend the fighter, so I'll use. Bind or reveal both cards. So when you attack an enemy, they always potentially get a defense. It could be 0, granted, but they always get a defense card, no matter what. But when they attack you, then it's regular rules. You may or may not have defense. Then resolve it as normal. You use buffs and things like that. Players only eliminated if all their fighters are defeated. Otherwise, they take a turn with whatever fighter they have remaining. When a player is eliminated, remove their initiative card if it is already revealed. Remove it now. So what this does mean, though, is that if your main hero is defeated and you still have a sidekick, your sidekick gets to stay and fight. So that's kind of a cool feature as well. End of the round. The last card in the initiative deck is played after all fighters taking their turn. Resolve all end of the round effects. From left to right. Some cards don't have effects. Resolve the bottom. Just, you can kind of go in order there. So you can also kind of plan that ahead of time, too. Right? If your player won and you notice, oh crap, Mothman has this effect it's going to trigger and Skunk Ape has this, you might determine who you want to target next. End of the game. The game ends when a player wins by defeating the villain, or when the player loses to the villain, achieves their objective 4 times, or all players are dead. Alright, then there's some special rules, which we'll kind of go over in the 3rd video when we get to each character, but Mothman has some special stuff for bridges, Doom tokens. Special objective is he wants to destroy all these bridges on the game. So he's going to work on doing that. Then the Mothman, who has special field rules. He can put aliens in the game. He has an invasion token. There's also advanced play. You can make this game more difficult by using amazing event cards after setting up the game normally. Choose 1 to 3 cards, shuffle, and draw them randomly. The more cards you use, the more difficult the game will be. Place them face up near the board. They are effective the whole game. Note some are combination of heroes and amazing events to make a game very difficult. So I just want to take one look at one of those. We have a bunch of these. So we have something like unexpected clips. The start of each round, advance the threat marker 1 space. So it's definitely not going to be a good thing to have. And it's also fun because if they keep the same back as they make more games, you can always mix and match more of them potentially. Even if they change the artwork on the font on the other sides. Adding unmatched fighters. To Amaze is compatible with heroes from unmatched sets, but some have unique interactions. So choosing an opponent. Enemies are treated as being played by an opponent. For example, Feint, which cancels the effects of all your opponent's cards, cancels the effect of an enemy. However, enemies cannot be chosen by any effect. Ignore any effect that says choose an opponent. Enemy decisions. Cannot make decisions. The effect says it may do something, and it chooses not to. If an effect lets it do something up to a number of times, it does it 0 times. If an effect lets the enemy place itself in one number of possible spaces, player decides where it goes. If an effect will require to decide between 2 or more options, it refuses and the effect is ignored. So if it was saying like, and I'm not sure if this is a card or not, but it's an example. If you play something that says, oh, both players may draw up to 2 cards, they're not going to draw any cards. But in the same sense, if it says, you may heal one of your characters, they're not going to heal a character. Printing value of a card is its attack value. In combat, the attack value is its attacking, defense if it's defending. Small fighters. Enemies ignore small fighters when determined targets to move towards and attack. Drawing cards. An effect results in drawing cards. Shuffle that many cards from the top of its discard pile back into its deck. If there aren't enough, shuffle the entire discard back, and the enemies cannot become exhausted. And returning to the hand. If an effect returns a card to the hand, put it on top of its deck. Cool. Then we'll have use heroes from this set to play against standard competitive version of Unmatched. You can play on the battlefield in this set. If you play point place, do not place the bridge tokens. And then we have our minions, who are going to do some different stuff as well. Ant Queen acts as a little mini boss. Add some more stuff to your deck. Blob puts access token on the board with damaged heroes or landing them. Jersey Devil causes players to discard cards. The Skunk Ape hits hard, takes extra turn when it loses combats. Dracula leaves web tokens to stop heroes, and Level and Fraud puts extra initiative in the deck, allowing to attack up to 4 times. So yeah, pretty cool. A lot of stuff in here. So we'll go over the we'll go over all this stuff in the next video. So we do also have our minion tokens, Blob, Jersey Devil. So you have double-sided ones for each one of those. But we'll look at each of the minions in video 3 and video 2, part 2 here, which is the next one we'll head up. We will look at all of the heroes. Alright, see you guys there. Bye.